Om. Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Gagana Sadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadhi Sakshi Bhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Satgurum Tam Namami Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punaha Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Jai Gurudev. Bela, maybe we can start from the 15th verse downwards to save some time.
Astu. And we will start with Patram Pushpam Phalam or 27th verse.
Patram Pushpam we've done twice, no? Till now?
Yeah.
Yesterday and day before. So we'll start with the verse after that.
27. Okay.
Yeah.
Astu. Om Shri Paramatmane Namaha. अथ नवमोऽध्यायः राजविद्या राजगुह्ययोगः ज्ञानयज्ञेन चाप्यन्ये यजन्तो मामुपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्त्वेन बहुधा विश्वतोऽहम् अहं क्रतुरहं यज्ञः स्वदाहमहम् औषधम् मन्त्रोऽहमहमेवाज्यम् अहम् पिताहमस्य जगतः माता धाता पितामहः नित्यं पवित्रमुपारः सामयजुरेव च गतिर्भर्ता प्रभु साक्षी निवासः शरणं सुहृत् प्रभवः प्रलयमानम् निधानं बीजमव्ययम् तपाम्यहं वर्षं गृह्णाम्युत्सृजामि अमृतं मृत्युश्च सच्चाहमर्जुन त्रैमां सोमपापूतपापा यज्ञैरिष्टा स्वर्गतिर्थयन्ते ते पुण्यसाद्य सुरेलोकम् अश्नति दिवि देवभूतान् ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं गच्छन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्ना गतागतं कामकामा लभन्ते अनन्याश्चिन्तयन्तो मां ये जनाः पर्युपासते तेषां नित्याभियुक्तानां योगक्षेमं वहाम्यहम् येऽप्यन्यदेवता भक्ता यजन्ते श्रद्धयान्विताः तेऽपि मामेव कौन्तेय यजन्त्य विधिपूर्वकम् अहं हि सर्वयज्ञानां भोक्ता च प्रभुरेव च न तु मामभिजानन्ति तत्त्वेनातश्चैवन्ति ते यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन्यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेजा यान्ति मध्याजिनोऽपि माम् पत्रं पुष्पं फलं तोयं यो मे भक्त्या प्रयच्छति तदहं भक्त्युपहृतम् अश्नामि प्रयतात्मनः यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् शुभाशुभफलैरेवं मोक्ष्यसे कर्मबन्धनैः सन्न्यासयोगयुक्तात्मा विमुक्तो मामुपैष्यसि समूहं सर्वभूतेषु न मे द्वेषोऽस्ति न प्रियः ये भजन्ति तु मां भक्त्या मयि ते तेषु चाप्यहम् यत्करोषि यदश्नासि यज्जुहोषि ददासि यत्तपस्यसि कौन्तेय तत्कुरुष्व मदर्पणम् यत्करोषि whatever you do ashnasi whatever you eat yat whatever ritual you perform yat dasi whatever you give yat tapasyasi whatever religious discipline you Kauteya Arjuna tat kurushva please do it madarpana as an offering to me yat karoshi yat ashnasi yat juhoshi dasi yat tapasya kurushva madarpanam whatever you eat, whatever ritual you perform, whatever you give, whatever religious discipline you follow, Arjuna, as an offering to me. Various actions that you do, whether they are secular or scripturally enjoined, either by the Vedas or by the please all of them as an offering to me. Purushva Marpanam. Why
You, Ella,
here?
it's kind of breaking a lot. You want me to read it or it?
Yeah, please go ahead. Doctor. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
I
Dhanyavad.
mean, yeah, just I wanted to, if you want to come back, that things are working fine.
No, your
I
voice
can
is
read.
breaking, then it's
I
of
can,
no use.
Dr. Mara
Okay,
and Bella. I can take over.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
okay.
I can continue sharing. No problem. Dr. Mara. Just okay.
Yeah, just give me a few seconds. Okay. So we'll start from
Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever ritual you perform, whatever you give, whatever religious discipline you follow, Arjuna, please do it as an offering to me. Various actions that you do, whether they are secular or scripturally enjoined, either by the Vedas or by Smriti, please do all of them as an offering to me. Kurushva Madarpanam. Why is this said here? Generally, even though people perform these rituals, prayers, etc., they do them for their own yoga and kshema. The same ritual can be a kamya karma or a nishkama karma. Nishkama karma does not mean you do not expect a result. Nobody can perform an action without expecting result. It means you expect no result except antahkarana shuddhi. So the only result that we expect is that antahkarana shuddhi. You may do anything, but if it is no longer a kamya karma, you do it with an entirely different attitude. What you want is antahkarana shuddhi. What exactly is the purification? Not to be in the hands of likes and dislikes, the two words that really cover all other psychological problems. If you analyze any problem you have, you find it comes under raga dveshas. Things did not happen as I wanted, therefore I have a problem. Things do not happen as I want, therefore I have a problem. I do not see that things will not happen as I want, therefore I have a problem. All problems, normal or abnormal, can be brought under raga dveshas. I will just read this one again. What exactly is the purification? Antakarana Shuddhi is spoken of several times, over and over. So what is this? Not to be in the hands of likes and dislikes. The two words that really cover all other psychological problems. If you analyze any problem you have, you find it comes under raga dveshas. Things did not happen as I wanted. Therefore, I have a problem. Things do not happen as I want. Therefore, I have a problem. I do not see that things will not happen as I want. Therefore, I have a problem. All problems, normal or abnormal, can be brought under raga dveshas. Connection of prayer and mental purification. This antakarana shuddhi is very important, and to achieve it, prayer is inevitable. Prayer is inevitable to gain this antakarana shuddhi. Why? Because only a prayerful mind can accept all this. Only on seeing my helplessness can I forgive myself. Only understanding myself very clearly as a limited person can I totally accept that I could only do as much as I did. I could not have done anything better. Perhaps in the order of things, this is how it should have been. With that kind of recognition, that prayerful attitude, there is serenity. When the mind is settled like this, it can inquire properly. Here, Bhagavan is talking about a person who is interested in moksha. He does karma for antakarana shuddhi. He may do the same action as a kamakami, but he does not want this and that. Okay, thank you, I will do that. He may do the same action as a kamakami, but he does not want this and that. He wants only one thing, moksha, which is non-separate from himself. As a karma yogi, he has renounced the results of his action. Karma phala tyaga. He plays roles and performs karma, etc. But he does not work for dharma, artha, and kama, but works only for antakarana shuddhi. Or he can be a sannyasi who gives up the karmas, duties, so that he has no role to play. Both the karma yogi and the sannyasi have a recognition of Ishvara, and that is called bhakti. So bhakti is what? Recognizing Ishvara. And being in that prayerful attitude is important to gain this antakarana shuddhi. Without that, antakarana shuddhi is not possible. And what is that prayerful attitude? Seeing yourself, your helplessness, realizing your helplessness, understanding yourself as a limited person. Can I totally accept that I could do only as much? So we come from the standpoint of that alpajnaha, kinchignaha. From that, you come to the space of prayer, and the prayer will help you clean up your antakarana, rid you of your likes and dislikes. That is the purification. And once you are purified, then you are a karma yogi. You continue doing whatever you do, but with an attitude of nishkama karma. Not that you don't seek a result, but that whatever result you get, you take it as karma phala. You do that karma phala tyaga. You take it as prasada. And this recognition of Ishvara is important for both the karma yogi as well as the sannyasi. And that is what is called bhakti. Tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, please offer it to me. It means, may you not expect a result of yoga or kshema. Just do it and let it go to the Lord. These two sentences are so powerful. It's for us to directly implement. Tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, please offer it to me. It means, may you not expect a result of yoga or kshema. It is just do it and let it go to the Lord. It is an expression of your devotion to Ishvara. All you want is antakarana shuddhi. Remember, the only thing we expect out of doing any action is antakarana shuddhi for a karma yogi. It is not yoga or kshema. It is not something I want to happen. It is not that raga, and it is not I want to avoid this, so I don't want this to happen to my life. So it is not based on raga dvesha. The only one result that you expect out of your action is antakarana shuddhi. The very offering of such a prayer brings about inner purification. Therefore, whatever you do, please offer it to me for the sake of antakarana shuddhi leading to moksha. Bhagavan is not going to be elevated by your offering, but you are enriched in the process. Yat karoshi, whatever you do, Bhagavan addresses Arjuna directly here. Whatever you do is made into an offering, and the result of that karma is taken as prasada. Yadashnasi, whatever you eat. That is why, while eating, we offer the food, saying, Pranaya swaha, apanaya swaha, dhyanaya swaha, udanaya swaha, samanaya swaha, and then finally saying brahmane swaha. It means this: unto the Lord who is in the form of prana, the respiratory function; apana, the system that throws things out of the body; samana, the digestive system; dhyana, the whole circulatory system; udana, the prana that ejects the life out of the body at the time of death. I offer this food. Brahmane swaha, to the one who indwells every physical body identified with the total subtle body, Hiranyagarbha, I offer this food. Yet juhosi, whatever fire ritual you perform, whether it is a Shrauta karma, Shrauta is, that is the coming out of the Shruti, Shrauta karma from the Vedas, or a Smarta karma, or any ritual that you perform daily or on special occasions, please offer it unto me. Smarta karma is the one that comes out of the Smriti, but exactly what it is, I don't know. Let it not be for dharma, artha, or kama. All that is important is your attitude. Bhagavan is not going to be flattered by what you do or do not offer. Still, through some association, you make your offering more and more real, which creates in you a certain bhavana, attitude. All that is important. So let me just read this again. So whatever fire ritual you perform, whether it is a Shrauta karma or a Smarta karma, or any ritual that you perform daily or on special occasions, please offer it unto me. Let it not be for dharma, artha, or kama. All that is important is your attitude. Bhagavan is not going to be flattered by what you do or do not offer. Still, through some association, you make your offering more and more real, which creates in you a certain bhavana, attitude. Vishnu is the one who loves ornamentation. He is Alankara Priya. Lord Shiva loves a bath. He is Abhisheka Priya. Lord Surya loves salutations. He is Namaskara Priya. So you do all this for your own sake, really, to make your devotion more real. It is only your attitude that counts. Two pieces of wood in the form of a cross mean nothing. Every telephone pole looks like that, but it stands for something. So there is an attitude, bhavana. So it will work. Nobody will be denied the result of his prayer, whether he is a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Parsi, or anybody. These things must be very clear. Any religion is based on bhavana. That is what makes a person a devotee. One more attitude for the devotee is to be kind of free of ahankara. Then that is real devotion. Yet dadasi, whatever you give as an offering, as charity, gold, food, ghee, clothes, etc. These are the things that we generally give to brahmanas, people like priests dedicated to a religious life. In former times, they were working for the society and the society took care of them. So, dana was generally for brahmanas. Now, it can be anything you give in charity. All the charities you do, dedicate them unto Ishvara as a worship. Yet tapasyasi, any particular religious discipline you undertake, there are varieties of tapas like fasting and japa. In all this, Bhagavan says, whatever you do it as an offering unto me. These are all expressions that we have to understand properly. Otherwise, what does perform all actions dedicated to the Lord mean? Which Lord? Where? How? This is the problem. What does it mean to offer everything to Bhagavan? Here, we have to understand that gaining the knowledge of Ishvara and understanding that I am not separate from Ishvara is moksha, freedom. If you want that, you need antahkarana shuddhi and you have to work for it. When dharma is Ishvara, even duties are for Ishvara. What is to be done becomes important because it is looked upon as Ishvara, and thereby Raga Dveshas are relegated to the background. Then the special rituals that you perform are meant for no other result than Antakarana Shuddhi, leading to moksha. Wanting moksha means wanting Ishvara, because moksha is non-separate from Ishvara. Knowing I am Ishvara, whose nature is fullness and who is the cause of creation, is indeed moksha. When you are seeking moksha, don't think that you are seeking anything other than Ishvara. When the various rituals, prayers, etc. that you perform are all for the sake of Antakarana Shuddhi, which is necessary for moksha, they are all for Ishvara. Because the Swarupa of moksha is nothing but Ishvara, so when you perform these prayers and rituals, etc., they are all meant only for Ishvara. So although the immediate gain of doing all the rituals, pujas and all that is Antakarana Shuddhi, all the karma that we do as Nishkama karma is Antakarana Shuddhi. Ultimately, that is leading to Ishvara. It is the Swarupa of the Swarupa of Ishvara, Swarupa of moksha is nothing but Ishvara. And Antakarana Shuddhi is necessary for moksha. So it is the penultimate step for moksha. So therefore, when you do everything for Antakarana Shuddhi, it is for Ishvara. Madarpanam, it becomes Madarpanam. Similarly, the other duties which you are called upon to do in day-to-day life are also for Ishvara, if they conform to Dharma. Your likes and dislikes, tendencies, etc. may be opposed to what you have to do, but they are overruled when you conform to Dharma, because that itself is Ishvara. So this paragraph actually gives us the indication of Swadharma. So what you have to do as against what you like to and don't like to do. So when you stick to what you have to do in your day-to-day life, and you're not going according to your likes and dislikes, then you are conforming to Dharma. And Dharma is nothing but Ishvara. That is why in Nothing chapter 18, the 46th verse is Swakarmana tamabhyarcha siddhim vindati manavaha. So you do your swakarma, and with that, with doing a swakarma, siddhim vindati manavaha. The manava, the manushya, the man attains siddhi. That is moksha. So for the person who's living his life in this manner, like Arjuna, what will happen? So does anybody want to repeat of what we did just now?
We were reading the Swarupa of Atma a few verses ago, right? And then now this is Swarupa of Moksha. There's nothing but Ishvara. So this one clearly states, like we were thinking, oh, freedom from this samsara is another thing, but it is nothing but Ishvara. So that we are aiming at, basically. We've been calling moksha so far as one of the Purushartha. And then this one is really nicely stated. This last paragraph that you read, again and again, Ishvara is like moksha is like same kind of, not separate from
Yeah.
moksha or the Ishvara.
The duties which you are called upon to do in day-to-day life. Here how do we go about is to prioritize what all we need to do.
Yeah.
And that priority list is based on what is to be done and not based on what I like to do or I don't like to do. So that requires a certain amount of viveka. So unless you have that discrimination, you cannot make out this priority list according to what is to be done. If, for instance, what is to be done is, say, go and cook, for instance, you cannot say, I will sit and watch my social media or do this because I like to do this. I will cook later. What is to be done at that point is to cook. So you pretty well get up and go to the kitchen and do what you have to do. So it is again up to each of us individually how to put up this priority list, because it will differ from person to person and from time to time. You may have to alter your priority list based on the need of the hour. If something else is more important, then your that will jump up to priority number one. So it is not by default the same thing that happens every day, but it depends on the situation, the circumstances. That is why Gurudev says, for a greater commitment, you may have to drop some of your other commitments that you've taken based on the need of the hour. Sometimes we might tend to get rigid, like you want to do your sadhana every day at the same time. But at that point, you may have to take your loved one to the hospital, for instance, or some other need. You can't say, okay, I'm going to do my sadhana and only then go. You have to jump up your priority list. So that is the use of viveka there. Yeah.
But even for Shreyas and prayers also, there is every time we have to use the Vivek Buddhi. Choosing Shreyas over prayers, every time it is.
Right.
But there also, again, there is a very thin line when you try to prioritize your personal that prayers and then versus the Shreyas. Maybe your Swadharma as a mother or as a wife, or that is also sometimes have to count as Shreyas.
No, that is Shreyas also, right? See, that is what is this paragraph so important. He says, similarly, the other duties which you are called upon to do in day-to-day life are also for Ishvara. So that is also for Shreyas. Prayers is what? Prayers is something that is taking you away into the samsara. Doing your duties does not mean you're out of you're in samsara. No, you are that is why that verse in chapter 18, Swakarmana tamabhyarcha. You are praying to him. Tamabhyarcha, you're worshipping him by doing your swakarma. So therefore, every act of your day-to-day duties, see, that is why in the very beginning it says you can do any karma can be done either as a kama kami or as a nishkama kami, as a nishkama karma, either kamya karma or nishkama karma. So it is all to do with the attitude with which we're doing, isn't it? So even your daily your duties as a mother, as a wife, as a maybe doctor, as anything that we are, the different roles we take up, all that is only a shift in the attitude. I am not doing this to gain the result that I expect to gain, which is what I like and I don't like. I'm only doing this for that only result that I'm expecting is Antakarana Shuddhi, as an offering to Ishvara.
So the first word is yat karosi, is whatever you do. And whatever you do, but then you are doing it within the conformity of dharma, which is otherwise known as Ishvara. And that mother Kurusva Mother. So that is also you submit, offer it to the Lord. So
Correct.
So that was nice, right? Yat karosi, yat tadas asnasi, whatever you eat, and then yat jugosi, the
Juhosi.
ritual, yeah. And then yat tadasi is the
Yet dadasi is whatever you give.
give, yeah, charity, and tadasi, and then yat tapas, yes. Tapas, yes.
That is why they say whenever you're doing your sadhana also, your meditation, do it with that honor and respect. So when you bring it, make it a prayerful attitude and not doing it mechanically.
Right.
That is what is meant here. That yat tapasyasi.
Okay, that fasting or japa or
Fasting, yeah.
japa or the sadhana, anything you do, you have to do it with that attitude.
With that
You're
attitude.
offering it to Lord.
Yeah.
And then that becomes that um, it's very nice.
See, it is
Don't
not
fail it,
again
that
for
gives what?
yoga kshema.
Mm,
Whatever
yeah.
we do is not for yoga kshema. See,
Mm,
although initially people are given all the benefits of yoga, benefits of meditation, it will improve
mm,
health, it will improve your blood pressure, everything. That is only
mhm,
to entice them into it. If you're doing it for that, then you're no better than a kamya kami, because you're doing it to gain that limited end of getting a better your yoga and kshema, isn't it? So
mhm.
step further, we're doing this. The only expectation of result, the only result that we expect is that purification of the mind.
Mhm.
Everything else it will come under that umbrella. When you do it, of course, your blood pressure will improve, your health will be regained, but your focus is not just yoga kshema. You're going beyond that. So that is an offering to Ishvara. But if we are doing it for our yoga kshema, then it becomes a kamya karma.
Mm. So yeah, they mentioned in the very first thing, right? Kamya karma and nishkama karma. But then he mentioned it, you do it with attitude for antakarna siddhi, not for yoga and jama. That's what you're saying.
Jai
Right?
Gurudev. We also read in verse number 24, this Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurev cha na tu mam bhijanati na tu mam bhijananti tattve nataschavanti te. So the last part, which this was Chavanti te, was described that it is for that Antakarna Shuddhi, the prayer should be done. So the main aim of our is for the Antakarna Shuddhi. So whatever prayer we are doing, it is like either we normally we pray for some, like we have some disability, or we have some lackness, or we want to fulfill some task, like uh, all our materialistic things related to our family and ourselves or our profession. So we are always asking for something or the other. So I think we will have to drop all these uh, like um, the asking for all these. You have to drop it, so that and take whatever is coming, like whatever you are getting, take it as a prasad. And don't and taking it also, you don't have to crib why it has been done to me, why is this so you take it with a happy this with joy. You take it with that attitude, then it would be like then the antakarna shuddhi will happen. And you will be doing what the dharma is, what the dharma demands, that you will be doing that way. You will not be biased. So every time when you have some, we do these rituals and puja or agnihotra, so we have or the some specific pujas. So we always have that aim that we have to fulfill this. So we are doing this for this person, and to get this, we are doing this puja. But so it is what I understood was that Bhagwan says that if you drop all these demands of yours and you pray with that prayerful attitude, uh, then and live according to dharma, what your duty demands according to your dharma, then your antakarna shuddhi will happen, and that is when you will be one with that Ishvara. And being one with Ishvara is naturally that antakarna shuddhi, and that is moksha basically. So all these Brahm Rishis, they have, why they all have powers, that in that program which happened, there wasn't rain in Delhi. It happened that whole of the part there was rain, but while that world festival day, that particular area did not have rain. So it was that he becomes the part of that higher consciousness, and he have those controls over the nature also. So this is the being one with the higher. This is the state of moksha. I like all these verses from, I think we are going from 23 or maybe 21, 22. All these verses are just saying that you just leave all these things and just
Yeah, that
think of think
in
of me.
that verse number 21, like where it says Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ye Janaga
This verse
Paripasite.
22, I think. No?
This
22.
is
Yeah.
22, yeah. Ananya
22.
Chintayanto
Yeah.
Ananya
mam
And
ye
then
jana paripasya.
Tesham Abhiyuktanam
Yoga
Tesham
Kshema
Yoga
Vahamya.
Shemam Vahamya. So he says there, like, if you unto me, and then you are acquired and you are protected. So you don't, knowing that, then you don't have to be asking for, I want this, I want that, I want this.
Yeah.
When you know that you are given this assurance, right? You don't have to keep asking for limited ends, like, oh yeah, I want to have a child, I want to have my child to be still doing well, you want to get a job. I mean, you just leave it, and that will basically do what the Lord supposed to do. And he says he will do it. And like you said, even he can even alter the nature, and he has that capacity. I think we read somewhere uh, something about this small story. um, there was one guy who was traveling in a boat or a ship. It broke down, and everybody lost in the water. But this one person who got on a log, and he um, got to one island where there's no one, and he built a straw hut and lived there and eating fruits and vegetables, uh, and kind of concerned about, oh, left the family and all that, and what happened to me. But then he was eating. One day he was making fire to to because it was cold for him. Then he slept off, but in the night the whole hut got fire, and he lost that straw hut. And then he said, "Oh God, what? Why you're testing me like this? You took away everything and my family, and I lost, and I'm in this island where nobody is. And why did you do this like that?" And then the next morning, he saw one boat is coming towards him, and then that guy was saying, "Oh, we saw the fire. That's why we came to. Maybe somebody is here and to help you." So then he realized, oh, God did something for him, even, with that kind of fire stuff. So it's really, we think he's not doing it, but he's doing in some other way. in terms of this little story. Thank you.
Yeah, that's so wonderful, that beautiful story. I'm reminded of the saying, your idea of life is like a straight line upwards. Whereas God's idea of life for you, what God gives us, what the divine gives us, and what reality is, it is like a curved, it is like a stepwise thing. It goes up and down, up and down. So it is different from what we think life is. So being in that space of karma phala tyaga and taking whatever result comes as prasada is such an important thing. I was just thinking, when you are a karma yogi, you have to be 100% karma yogi. No, we cannot be part karma yogi, saying, okay, for all of this, I will drop my results and drop the, I'll take the result as it comes. But then for some things, I will keep, like, so that yoga kshema, we have to kind of be aware of whatever I'm doing. Is it for yoga kshema? Is that the filter I'm keeping? Is that the filter of raga dvesha? First that gets out. Then is it yoga kshema, or is it only antakarana shuddhi? So
It is true, like today, I was kind of chanting this Ananya Chintayanto Mam Ananya Chintayanto. I couldn't go past that, and then I tried to recollect the meaning of it, and then okay, oh, yeah, the Janaka part, like Pariyapasate, like that. I kind of adding one sentence at a time, but finally it came to me. I was surprised, like trying to remember the whole verse. That way I be able to say it. Even
yeah.
now, it's nice that we keep at it and it will come to us. It will happen. I think that kind of shraddha and then I would say belief, but then it's like it's your uh, I would say, I don't know, you can call it as devotion or bhakti or something. It grows inside you, then the more and more, I think we would acquire it. And the
Yeah.
protection, everything, what we want will be given to you, I think.
That is so good. So we move on to the next verse. Shubha Shubha Palairevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishyasi. Can we just go up a little? Go. Just one. Yeah, for the person who's living his life in this manner, like Arjuna, what will happen? So this is the result of what will happen. Shubha Shubha Palai Revam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sanyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishyasi. Evam, in this manner, Mokshase, you will be released karma bandhanaihi, from the bondage of karma, shubha ashubha palaihi, in the form of desirable and undesirable results, sannyasa yoga yukta atma, being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, vimuktaha, released, mam upaishyasi, you will come to me. Evam mokshase karma bandhanaihi Shubha Ashubha Palaihi Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma Vimuktaha Mam Upaishyasi. In this way, you will be released from the bondage of karma, which is in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, you who have been released will come to me. We'll read this meaning again. In this way, you will be released from the bondage of karma, which is in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, you who have been released will come to me. Moksha say, you will be released from what? From the karmas that give you desirable and undesirable results. Shubha Ashubha Karma Bandhanaihi. These binding karmas have desirable and undesirable results. In other words, Sukha and Dukkha. Karma produces two types of results, desirable, Shubha Phala, and undesirable, Ashubha Phala. And the karmas themselves are bondage because they produce results for the agent, the karta. He is the one who has to experience the karma phala, which comes in the form of sukha and dukkha. In order to experience them, he must have a body, mind, senses, etc. Therefore, he requires a birth, janma. Because of karma, there is janma. Because of janma, there is karma. From all this, Bhagavan says, you will be released. How? Evam, in this manner, by doing what was described in the previous two verses, performing all actions as a dedication to Ishvara as it was explained, you become Sannyasa Yoga Yukta Atma, one whose mind is endowed with yoga and sannyasa. This is moksha. But the person we are discussing is doing karma. And all that he does, he dedicates unto the Lord, as the Lord himself said in the last verse, Yat karoshi, yadashnasi, yat tapasyasi. So, what is the sannyasa here? Shankara makes it clear. It is sannyasa and at the same time, yoga. It is called sannyasa because he renounces the results of his actions. There is phalatyaga. Everything is done as an offering to Ishvara. Tat kurushva madarpanam. And he is interested only in Ishvara, nothing else. Ishvara is non-separate from moksha. So if he is interested in moksha, he is purely interested in Ishvara. Since he has karma phalatyaga, it is called sannyasa, considering the root meaning of the word rather than the popular meaning, which is a lifestyle of renunciation. It is not the renunciation of karma, but an attitudinal renunciation. The context here is the performing of all these rituals, prayers, duties, etc. So here sannyasa means karma phalatyaga. It is an attitudinal recognition and renunciation, and it is not just that lifestyle of sannyasa where you drop all your karmas. So therefore, it is not the renunciation of karma, but an attitudinal renunciation. The context here is the performing of all these rituals, prayers, duties, etc. Therefore, we are talking about karma yoga. Still, it is called sannyasa yoga because there is karma phalatyaga. He gives up his likes and dislikes and does karma only for the sake of Ishvara, not for anything else. This person is committed to Ishvara. So naturally, there is sannyasa. Why is it yoga? Shankara says, because the word karma is associated with it. And it is karma yoga because the word sannyasa is there. Otherwise, it would be only karma for the sake of artha and kama. Now, and later it becomes a karma that binds you. Karma bandhana, by producing punya and papa. These karmas, however, do not bind since they create antakarana shuddhi, and through antakarana shuddhi, you gain moksha. There is an order there. The same thing was said in the 5th chapter of the Gita. Yoga yukto vishuddhatma vijitatma jitendriyaha Sarvabhutatma bhutatma kurvannapi na lipyate. One whose mind is purified by being committed to a life of karma yoga, who has mastered the body and has the sense organs under control, and who knows oneself to be the self in all beings, such a person is not affected even while doing. So basically, he's talking of sannyasa as an attitudinal renunciation. What we're talking of is only karma yoga. Because there is karma phala tyaga, there is also sannyasa. This sequence is a style of the Gita and must be understood. Otherwise, it will read as though karma yoga is a means for liberation. That will destroy the whole Shastra and create countless problems. Therefore, here we must remember that particular word, yoga yukta, the one who is endowed with karma yoga. What does he become? Vishuddhatma. His antakarana is pure, meaning he is no longer in the hands of ragas and dveshas. Therefore, he is Vijitatma. His mind is in his hands, and so are his sense organs. He is a Jitendriya. Such a person becomes Sarvabhuta Atma Bhuta Atma. In time, he gains this knowledge, and his self is no longer enclosed but is released from the limitations superimposed upon the self. He is the self of all. Even if he performs an action, he is not bound by that action, by that karma, na lipyate. That is what is said here. That is that karma bandhana vimukta. He gets released from that bondage of karma. How? By changing his attitude. So by doing this, you will get released from karma. Look at this. Karma generally binds you. But by doing the same karma with a change of attitude, it becomes the means for liberation. The binding karma becomes non-binding. This truly is the beauty of our scriptures, of the Sanatana Dharma of Bhagavad Gita. Because he does everything for the sake of Ishvara, he is a bhakta and also a jignasu, karma yogi, mumukshu, all these at once. Because he is sannyasa yoga yukta atma, he has all the qualifications for gaining the knowledge. So for him, knowledge becomes easy. Therefore, vimuktaha mam upaishyasi, liberated, you will come to me in time. Because he said mokshase, you will get liberated. There is a time involved here. Knowledge does not take time, but removing the obstructions does. Being a karma yogi, you gain antakarana shuddhi. And with that mind, you are able to understand the Shastra and are therefore vimukta. Living, you are liberated because the mind does not pose any problem insofar as the knowledge of yourself is concerned, which you have gained from the Shastra. It is not inhibited by any problem that would be there for want of karma yoga. It is not inhibited by any problem that would be there for want of karma yoga. And uninhibited self-knowledge is moksha. The teaching is there, pramana is there, and vastu is there. Knowledge should take place, and it has to take place in your mind. If that mind has a problem, we have to take care of it, and that is done by karma yoga. How beautiful this is. Living, you are liberated. Then what happens at the time of death? When the body falls at the time of death, you are one with me. What exists is only Ishvara. because the notion of individuality, jivatva, is eliminated. The jiva has resolved into Ishvara, and therefore you are one with Ishvara, which means that you are Ishvara. Even alive, there is only Ishvara. But because of prarabdha karma, the body, mind, sense complex continues. Therefore, it seems limitations continue. Then what falls? Then that body falls away and the seeming limitations also disappear. There is only Ishvara.
Excuse me, Dr. Pramana, can you read from the previous paragraph one more
Yeah,
time?
we'll do that.
Therefore, yeah.
Therefore, vimuktaha mam upaishyasi. Liberated, you will come to me in time. Because he said, mokshase, you will get liberated. There is a time involved here. Knowledge does not take time, but removing the obstructions does. Like for instance, when you put the light on, immediately there is light. But what needs to be done is that putting that light, that switch on, that requires some effort. But knowledge does not take any time. So, but removing the obstructions does. Being a karma yogi, you gain antakarana shuddhi, and with that mind, you are able to understand the Shastra and are therefore vimukta. Living, you are liberated because the mind does not pose any problem insofar as the knowledge of yourself is concerned, which you have gained from the Shastra. It is not inhibited by any problem that would be there for want of karma yoga. And uninhibited self-knowledge is moksha. The teaching is there, pramana is there, and vastu is there. Knowledge should take place, and it has to take place in your mind. If that mind has a problem, we have to take care of it, and that is done by Manana. That is done by karma yoga. So the starting point is that we have an impure mind, which is all rid of raga, which has got all the raga dveshas. So with an impure mind, you cannot get knowledge. So the only effort required here is to purify the mind. That is through karma yoga. So once we purify the mind, knowledge does not take achirenadi gacchati. That knowledge just takes place. With, of course, the pramana there. Living, you are liberated. Then what happens at the time of death? When the body falls at the time of death, you are one with me. What exists is only Ishvara because the notion of individuality, jivatva, is eliminated. The jiva has resolved into Ishvara and therefore you are one with Ishvara, which means that you are Ishvara. Even alive, there is only Ishvara. But because of prarabdha karma, the body, mind, sense complex continues. Therefore, its seeming limitations continue. Then that body falls away and the seeming limitations also disappear. There is only Ishvara. Therefore, Lord Krishna says here, Mam upaishyasi, you will come to me. This is addressed to the jiva who is now listening, not to the Satchidananda Atma. Here you fall short of Satchidananda Atma. It gives only up to the jiva. It goes only up to the jiva, the jignasu, and not beyond that. You shall come to me means that there will be no you, the individual. You who is Satchit Ananda Brahma alone is there. There is another expression that can be misunderstood. You have been me, but you come back to me again. As though you are a stranger, you come back to me. This is a figurative expression. There is no coming to Bhagavan or going away from Bhagavan. You are always non-separate from Bhagavan. It is just a matter of recognition. Can you just scroll up, Bella? How much more of this is there? Okay, I will read till the end of this and then we'll stop for
Yeah,
I think
don't-
2 pages are there, Ramaraji.
2 pages, is it?
Yeah. 2 pages.
It's
From
not
here,
that much, like only
Like one
first
page.
paragraph.
I will read this till the next verse and then we'll stop for Manana. Okay. Does
Yeah,
Bhagwan,
3
Bella, I can share
paragraph.
screen, Bella. You have to go. I can just give me 1
no,
second.
no,
and I-
kindly finish, no problem.
Okay, fine. Does Bhagwan also have partiality? But in the previous verse, he says, whatever you do, Arjuna, yat karoshi, yat dashnasi, yat juhosi, offer it all to me. And the one who performs all actions for the sake of Ishvara will get Ishvara, whereas the others will not. Then we have a problem. Bhagavan becomes the one who has raga dveshas like any ordinary person. If you praise him, call him Indra, Chandra, etc., you get something out of him. Then if you criticize him, he doesn't give you anything at all. Today he shows raga and tomorrow he shows dvesha. Flatter him and he gives you everything. If he's angry, he leaves you out completely. This is what we see in the world. We thought Bhagavan was different, one who would be equal to all people and give equally to everybody. But it looks as though he too behaves like an ordinary person. You go on doing everything for Bhagavan, then he is pleased and says, come back. But the others who did not care for him, he also does not care for. What is this? If you care for him, he cares for you. If you do not, he does not care for you. What kind of Bhagavan is he? He should care for me even if I do not care for him. I do not see him doing anything for me, nor is he immediately available for me. How can I care for him? I have 100 different cares in my life. But he is said to be all wisdom, all love, and all compassion. In his vision, in his compassion, I have done nothing to deserve being neglected by him. Suppose a child happens to kill a cockroach. You do not consider it a sin. It was afraid and it therefore did something. Even if a person commits a small felony, you accommodate him. Felony is theft. Our local laws seem to be very kind to the children because they do things in innocence. So what about the Almighty Lord, who is all wisdom, who is absolute love and compassion? In his vision, what kind of misdemeanor can I commit that will not get his pardon? In fact, I must destroy the universe for him to get angry. If I put Mars out of place, turn Jupiter inside out, just spirit the entire earth away, if I make a mess of his whole home, then he should get angry with me. But these small little things that a human being may do, he should pardon. I am not like Ravana, who made Lord Varuna come and water his garden and wanted Vayu to come and sweep his floor, etc. He abused all the devatas and should be punished, all right, but not me, doing my small little thing. What kind of person is he? If only when you go on flattering him, he is very kind to you. And if you neglect to say you are Ananta, you are Krishna, you are Rama, you are this, you are that, etc., he thinks that I am no good and therefore does not care for me. In my innocence and childishness, I may not care for him, but in his wisdom and in his compassion, he should care for me. What kind of a God is he if he also has raga dveshas? It is very clear that such a God is insecure. He has his own fans called bhaktas, devotees. So he cares for them. And the others who mind their business and are now grown up, he dislikes. He should be proud of them, but he wants them always to look up to him, which means he does not want them to grow. He is not even like enlightened parents. Now we have reduced Ishvara to our level. It is the argument of an opponent. Purva Pakshi, remember, the answer to this is given in the next verse. How so well the Purva Pakshi is talking here, and that is what Shankara is bringing up. He's saying, if the Lord is going to give only to those people who worship him, that means he's partial. He also has ragadveshas. So what kind of a Lord is he? So that answer will come in the next verse.
Yeah, somewhat reduced to the human nature.
Right.
Poor, poor Bhagwan.
So
Like
see,
the way put it.
Shankara is giving us in his commentary, he is
Yeah,
putting counter argument so that any shade of doubt is clarified then and there.
exactly. Yeah.
So to keep the path clear for our Nididhyasana to happen. All these little obstacles, doubts, everything is getting cleared by this Purva Pakshi's argument.
Yeah. I had this question, when Nana was coming, like that time I wanted to ask him. Maybe I thought, okay, we'll ask him a little later next time. Like, what happens after you achieve this moksha? Now that the answer to that question is given here nicely. Yeah, you kind of very nice. And then they gave the argument also on top of it.
So shall we just read the verses once and then do Manana for some time? And then we'll go to chapter 6. The verses that we read today were the one after. 1 minute, let me just share screen.
After Patram Pushpam Phalam.
After Patra Pushpam, no?
Yeah. 27.
27th. I'm just coming there. So, yeah. I'll just share screen. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. I'll read it again. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever ritual you perform, whatever you give, whatever religious discipline you follow, Arjuna, please do it as an offering to me. Shubha Shubha Palairevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaihi Sannyas Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishyasi. In this way, you will be released from the bondage of karma, which is in the form of desirable and undesirable results. Being one whose mind is endowed with renunciation and karma yoga, you who have been released will come to me. We'll close our eyes and then reflect on what we have learned. Jai Gurudev. So this verse, Yat karoshi yad ashnasi yad juhosi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. He has included all the activities that a person normally does in a day. Yat karoshi, whatever we do. Yad ashnasi, whatever we eat. Because that is, eating is part of our daily life. Yat juhosi, for all those that are doing all the rituals. And yat tapasyasi, one any religious discipline you're following. Could be japa, sadhana.
Tadasi.
Huh?
Sorry. Yat tadasi.
Yat dadasi, whatever you give in
Hmm.
charity. You know, actually, when we come to, is that chapter 16, where you do that Gunatraya Vibhaga Yoga, that when you give in charity, how you're giving it? Is it a sattvic dana? Is it rajasic? Is it tamasic? So that even that giving has to be as an offering to Ishvara. That is, you're doing it for Antakarana Shuddhi and nothing else. You're not giving it to get some name and fame or put your name in the newspapers. You know, so that giving itself, whatever you give, charity, money, food, knowledge, all of that. Kurushva Madarpanam. Madarpanam. So beautiful that word is. Yeah, I think Dr. Renu mentions you are non-separate from Bhagavan. Yes. And what happens if you do this, when you practice, when you live your daily life like this, day in and day out, this is what you're doing. Whatever is to be done, you do with this attitude. So here, again, it is only a shift in attitude. It is not like you relinquish your karma. You're doing your karma, but what you're relinquishing is the karma phala. You're taking it as prasada. You are letting go of the filter of raga dveshas that will determine your kind of karma, the attitude with which, what you're expecting out of the karma. Then when you do this, you get that antakarana shuddhi. That is what will liberate you. Because only in a clean mind can knowledge take place. Yeah. Anyone wants to share, please go ahead.
Hari Om. Brahmaraji, I just want one clarification. Madarpanam is same as Mam Arpanam?
Yes. Mat arpanam. Madarpanam.
But that mat will change the meaning, no? Mat is Panchami Vibhakti. It will be from me. I was संधि विच्छेद करेंगे तो वो मत अर्पणम होगा, पर मत से तो वो चेंज नहीं हो जाएगा मीनिंग पूरा. माम अस्तु, ओके. पर हम लोग उसका मीनिंग माम अर्पणम, मुझे अर्पण कर, ऐसा करेंगे,
right? That is the
You
English
offer it to me.
translation and explanation given it. Offer it to me. Mat, I don't know whether mat is the Panchami Vibhakti there. Mat could also be into me or to me, right? I don't know. Maybe
yeah, mat is sure Panchami Vibhakti, mat from me.
Check from someone who knows Sanskrit. You can check with your teacher maybe.
Yes.
Because what he says is the verse, what does the verse read? It reads, Mam Upaishyasi Yajjuhosi. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajjuhosi dadasi yat yattapasyasi kaunteya tat kurushva madarpanam. Mad, it is mad arpanam. It is not mat, very mad arpanam. So here mad, I don't know what vibhakti it is. It is not mat, it is mad arpanam.
Yeah, it is Mad Arpan.
Mad arpanam. Yeah. So here these two verses are so beautiful. Bhagwan has actually given us the blueprint of how karma yoga is, and in chapter 6 he's giving us the blueprint of how dhyana is to happen, what is to be done. Again, these two, karma yoga and how to handle your mind, that abhyasa and vairagya. The only few places where he said how you should do and what you should do. So here it's all about change of attitude in the mind.
Yeah. And then what are you released from? That was nicely given in that first paragraph that you read. All the karmas that causes all this janma. Karma means another janma. Janma means another karma.
So you are released from the cycle.
Yeah, it's like again one cycle going there.
And then he gives the Purva Pakshi's argument as to whether he is partial, Bhagwan is partial. And he moves it out saying, Bhagwan is all wisdom, all compassion, and that beautiful story that you shared. No? So, yeah, we'll take it up tomorrow.
Yeah.
We'll come to chapter
So that's
6.
the chapter. Yeah. Thanks.
So Arjuna puts this question to Krishna in the next. Arjuna wants to know what happens to the person. We did this, no? We did Kachino Bhaya Viprashtaha Pratishto Maha Vimudho Brahmanapati. We did this. Etanme samshyam Krishna chetumarhusi twadanya samshya chetana upapadyate. This also I think we did. We came to Bhagwan's explanation. Partha naiveha namutra vinashastasya vidyate nahi kalyanakrit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. We did this one also. And Prapya Punya
You were in page 410 or something like that, I remember.
Ushitva Shashwati Samaha Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe Yoga Bhrashto Bhijayate. We did this yesterday, I think. Shuchinam Shrimatam Gehe. Here he talks of whether he is wealthy or not. If he's born into a Karma Yogi's family, it's even better. Because then with or without wealth, he still is hooked on to Ishvara. So from this, we can see that there is no such thing as a bad lot for the person, either in terms of this life or in the hereafter. Even coming back to this life, he picks up the thread and continues. And to facilitate his pursuit, his birth will be in a better place, meaning that it will be more conducive for gaining the knowledge. Krishna then mentions another possibility for the person who had not yet gained the knowledge. अथवा योगिनामेव कुले भवति धीमताम् एतद्धि दुर्लभतरं लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्. think we did even this yesterday. Athava, or Dhimatam, of people who are wise, Yoginam, of yogis, Eva, indeed, Kule, in the family, Bhavati, is born, Yat Idrisham Janma, this birth of this kind, he indeed, Loke, in the world, Etat Durlabhataram, this is very difficult to gain. Or he is indeed born into the family of wise yogis. A birth such as this is indeed very difficult to gain in this world. We have seen that there is no such thing as a bad lot, Durgati, for a yogi, a sannyasi, who has the desire to know the self. Anyone who has taken a step towards knowing oneself has already initiated a process of unwinding oneself from samsara. We did this also yesterday. I think we read this, but we'll just go through this. This word, this particular sentence is so beautiful. Anyone who has taken a step towards knowing oneself has already initiated a process of unwinding oneself from samsara. It's such a beautiful expression. You wind yourself in samsara by karma without even questioning whether you are a karta, a doer or not. Then, within the samsara, retaining the doership centered on the self, you try to accomplish various ends. And these ends are accomplished on the basis of the desire for something other than Atma, all of which we saw earlier. Which is what is we learned just now, is that Janma means karma, karma means another Janma. So you go on and on like that, like the frog in the well. You just go on and on in the samsara. But here, you are questioning the very Swarupa of Atma. You may not know whether you are a karta or not, but at least you are questioning. You are inquiring into it by asking, what is Atma? You are not taking whatever Atma is for granted. Generally, people only try to avoid the dukkha that results from the limitations and bondage experienced by the karta, the subject, without ever questioning the subject itself. Generally, people only try to avoid the dukkha that results from the limitations and bondage experienced by the karta, the subject, without ever questioning the subject itself. Therefore, all their activity is only to bring about something desirable. This kind of life is called samsara. Instead of asking, who is this who is feeling bad, or who is this who is feeling angry, instead of asking, inquiring into the subject, why did I get angry? As in, who has made me angry? The focus is all outside. It is not inside. It is on trying to avoid the dukkha, whereas not questioning the subject itself. Samsara is a disease and no one goes for the cure. Samsara is a disease and no one goes for the cure. But once you pay attention to the very subject and ask, who is this subject? What is this I, etc., then you have initiated an auspicious desire, Subhecha, a desire for Atma, Atma Ichcha, that has to result in moksha. Thus, Krishna's assurance that there is no way that the person will come to a bad end. He also gave Arjuna a little inside information. As it were, the one you call Yoga Bhrashta Arjuna just picks up the thread in his next birth and continues his pursuit of knowledge. The person's prayerful life itself produces certain punya. And because of that punya, the person gains a pleasant stay in the hereafter, followed by rebirth in a situation conducive to his pursuit of knowledge. The idea being conveyed here is that if there is a life after death, a world other than this one, that world will be good for the person. All experiences there will be happy experiences. Therefore, Even in the hereafter, there is no such thing as a bad lot for this person. And having enjoyed the result, the punya of his prayerful life in the hereafter, he then comes back on this earth with an adhikari sharira, a body that is qualified to gain the knowledge, meaning that the person returns as a human being. He will not come back in a lower form, but will definitely be born as a human being into a setup that is conducive for his pursuit. Therefore, there is no question of a bad lot anywhere. I'll just read these two paras and we'll stop. Okay? Any physical body is called yoni. Yoni meaning womb, of which there are three types. Deva yoni, a celestial body. Manushya yoni, the body of a human being. And adho yoni, the body assumed by lower life beings. So Deva yoni, Manushya yoni and Adho yoni. Manushya yoni is the incarnation in which a physical body enjoying a free will is assumed, meaning a human body or its equivalent, here or anywhere else. I wonder what the equivalent of human body is, here or anywhere else. So he's opening up the possibility that life is not just on this earth, it can be there anywhere else also. A person need not be born on this particular planet necessarily, but in some setup or other, he will be born. Here, Krishna describes the setup into which the person under discussion will be born as the home of a person who is highly cultured and wealthy, and at the same time righteous. Suchinam Shrimatam Gehe. There may be wealth, but there will also be culture. And if there is no wealth, there will definitely be a lot of culture. The family will also be highly ethical and committed to living a life of values. In this way, the person does not have a false start, a start that is handicapped in any way, and therefore can easily pick up the thread of his pursuit of the knowledge. I think we'll do this tomorrow. Actually, we did all this yesterday also, but it's good to just repeat once, right? So
Number 410 page tomorrow. That number 410, yeah, like we were left at page 411. Right?
410.
Yeah.
Even better is to be formed. Yeah, we'll do this from tomorrow, okay? So if anyone wants to share anything, please do before we close. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.